Vacations are supposed to be relaxing until you check your credit card statement. But what if I told you that you can save thousands, even with a family, without giving up the fun? In this video, I'm breaking down the different ways you can save on a vacation, different ways that we save on vacations. Whether you like to travel local or catch flights overseas, there are plenty of ways you can save money during the summer or whenever you vacation. One thing I want to get out of the way, the tips I'm going to share in this video work for me. They may not work for you, so feel free to just take it or leave it. There are vacations I've gone on where I feel like because we budgeted well in advance, we didn't have to worry about the cost, and there are some other vacations where it was more about the principle of saving money because no one likes overpaying. Sometimes you have to look at the price as something and say, you know what, we can do better. Another thing, just for context purposes, I'm married with 2 kids, and there are times where I travel by myself. There's other times where it's just me and my wife, and there's other times where it's all 4 of us. So just keep in mind, this is where a lot of these hacks are coming from. The first set of hacks are something that you would do before you leave. So first thing is set a vacation budget. Vacations are a luxury and they can easily get out of hand if you don't put any type of limit on the spending, the accommodations and the excursions. So you have to set some type of realistic budget. That way you know how or know what you can stay within. Another hack is to budget early and regularly. Just keep a vacation fund as a regular line item in your budget. We do it so that there's a specific amount of money each and every week that goes towards vacation. And sometimes the vision changes along the way and we'll increase it a little bit more from time to time. But regardless, there is less pressure on a vacation when you know that you can swipe your credit card and pay the whole vacation off immediately since you already saved for it. Something else you can do is you can plan to bring all of your necessities. Sunscreen, hat, bathing suits, sandals. These items are always overpriced if you buy them at the airport or the resort because you're paying for the convenience. Anything you buy out of convenience in general is just going to cost you extra. Something else you can do is to make a packing checklist. This is going to help with avoiding buying a charger at the airport or needing to buy sandals because you left yours at home. It's simple, but it's going to save you money. Something else we do is we order things in advance. I know people who love going to all types of places like Disney World and all sorts of places, and because of how crazy the prices are when they get to certain places, they'll buy t-shirts and Mickey ears and all of the gear before they go, so they aren't overpaying for convenience. The same goes for excursions and tours. You can easily book those ahead of time or buy a Groupon before you get to your destination. If you aren't sure if you're getting a deal or not, look at the Groupon price and then call the hotel or whatever place, or even someone in that area that you plan on staying in, and see if it's actually a good deal. Just planning ahead in general is going to help you save a lot where it matters. Something else you can do is make sure you do your research. I didn't realize until years ago that you can book vacations through Costco. You can use Rakuten for some things. You can use all types of different companies, and it'll help you save some money if you take some time before you take time off. Cashback or rewards is another way. Just check with your credit card rewards to see if you have access to special deals or discounts that you can use. Something else we do ahead of time is go to the library ahead of the vacation. My kids are big readers, and if it's a road trip, they're gonna be pretty quiet most of the whole ride. If you find a good book on CD or some regular books, they'll literally read them. And to be fair, at some point we have to shut it down and switch to music so that I don't start nodding off during the drive, but sometimes I'll listen to the audiobook they're listening to, or I'll put an earbud in and just listen to my own music and GPS while they're listening to the audiobook. But either way, we never feel the need to buy books or travel entertainment while we're on vacation. And I can't think of a time where we've lost or left a book on vacation. Whenever a book gets lost or destroyed, it's usually because it's at home, not on vacation. Another way you can save money on vacation before you leave is do it before you go. Some people have this idea that if they go to a resort, they're going to get their massage and their pedicure at the hotel spa, but the cost of those places is generally overpriced compared to somewhere else you go if you went to a non-affiliated spa or nail place or wherever. You can even decide to get a massage the day before you leave for vacation. That way you can kind of kick things off. There's no rule book that says that you have to do all of it on the vacation. You can do it before. So get your nails done, before you go on a trip, get that back massage before you pack. You'll probably be a little bit more relaxed too. Now, the next set of hacks are a little bit more related to traveling on land. For us, more specifically, road trips. Take leftovers with you. Before you hit the road on a road trip, clear your fridge, put the leftovers and fruit in containers if you don't mind getting rid of them, since they were gonna go bad in your fridge anyway. So put them in a cooler and take it with you. That way there's less of a reason to stop, which leads me to my next tip. Reduce your rest stops. When you stop during these long drives, notice that gas prices are higher at certain places. I remember seeing the cost of fast food is just so much higher at these rest stops, and they're significantly more expensive than it would be if you got further away from the highway. Something you can do too is bring a collapsible cooler for road trips or beach days. That way you can store your own drinks and your own snacks. Another tip, pack snacks, trail mix, chips, snack bars, whatever you need to just pack some and keep them in your bag, because you're going to get to these hotel rooms and the first 2 water bottles are on the house. But after that, you're going to find yourself paying for all sorts of things out of convenience, since they're downstairs at the front desk. Bring a reusable bottle. You could either bring one with you, or you can buy a water bottle at the airport and continue to refill it at any time. I know that when I fly, I bring a disposable water bottle, and I'll refill it after airport security, and I keep it with me all the way to my destination. If I have to toss it, that's fine, but I generally try to avoid having to buy a $4 water bottle over and over and over again. And most places are gonna let you take an empty water bottle anywhere, and you can refill it at water stations wherever you see them. So be mindful of that. Something else you can do is you can go camping. This is one of the most cost-friendly options when it comes to vacationing. And I know the concept is already kind of wild. You leave the amenities you have at home to go live outside for about a day or two. Look, I've been camping about three or four times, and I have loved it each time. And I think about camping twice a year being ideal, because nothing makes you appreciate more of what you have than camping. There are campsites with running water, functioning bathrooms, grills, all of those things. So don't feel like you have to have everything with you. Speaking of camping, another thing you can do is borrow camping gear. One thing I know about people who like to camp is that they usually don't have an issue lending you some of their camping gear, and that'll save you some money right there. Something else you can do is leave the kids. Sometimes it may be worth it to leave the kids at home during the next vacation. I mean, well, not by themselves. Leave them with a family member, and you can do a smaller vacation. It could just be you and your special someone. And this works especially if you have support from family. You'll really save some money. Now, the next set of travel hacks would be traveling by air. So for flights, if you use Google Flights, this feature is pretty cool because it's going to track the cost of the flight for your trip. And it's going to send you alerts each time the cost goes up or down, and you'll have a better idea of when you should book that flight. Something else you can do is be flexible with the timing, because sometimes it is cheaper to have an extra layover, or it's cheaper to fly out from a different nearby airport, or maybe your vacation should start on a Wednesday or a Tuesday and not on Friday or Sunday, because those days tend to be more expensive. Something else you can do is to travel to smaller destinations. I mean, there are a lot of metropolitan cities you can fly into, but if your actual destination is not directly in the city, you can actually save some money by finding things to do in that area. For example, I live about 20 miles from DC, and obviously doing things in the district is going to be more expensive than doing them in the suburbs of Northern Virginia. There is a lot you can do in DC, but if you stay out in the suburbs, you can decide to stay somewhere low cost and maybe take public transportation into the city if you like. There are different ways to do this wherever you want to go. Now, the next set of hacks are related to where you actually stay. So with hotels, stay within the same network of hotels. Sometimes these loyalty programs give you access to free Wi-Fi, late checkout, breakfast in the morning. So there are generally going to be perks for being part of this loyalty program, and you generally don't get that when you have Airbnbs. So hotels are still very beneficial. Another thing you can do is you could book hotel rooms with a kitchen. This one is really easy because it helps you avoid eating out at every meal. It's expensive to eat out, especially when you go to major cities, and they know that. So they're gonna overcharge you. Something you can do is stay somewhere that offers breakfast. Breakfast is great, but full disclosure, It's my least favorite meal of the day. I've had great breakfasts before, but it doesn't compare to lunch and dinner. So I don't mind grabbing something real quick at the hotel, complimentary breakfast that'll hold me over, and pick a better place for lunch or dinner. Something else you can do at a hotel is ask for a rollaway bed. If you're borderline between 1 and 2 hotel rooms, ask for a rollaway bed so that you don't have to opt for a second room, or get a room with a pull-out sofa and ask for a rollaway bed. That way you can comfortably sleep the right amount of people. And I think you know what your limit is for the amount of people in your room with you, so do with that what you will. Another thing you can do is check the vacation packages, because some of these places are all-inclusive resorts and some of them, they aren't. And you can imagine that some of these packages include food, alcohol, and the purpose of your vacation matters. If you know that you want to relax and eat and drink, book the package, because most of the time it's a good deal. But if you're the type that goes on excursions every day and you'll barely be in the hotel, then the level of how fancy the hotel is not really going to matter as much. And you won't really need all of the all-inclusive features like the food and the alcohol. So some people actually find better deals going away from the resort, but you need to travel with caution if you're going to do that. Another thing related to where you stay, you can tap into your network, because odds are you might be traveling to a city where you might know someone, or a state where you have a friend and they can give you recommendations and help you understand some of the local nuances of where you're going to be. And you might be able to get things for a lower cost or find some complete workarounds. And they may even let you stay with them as part of your trip. So it really depends. Something else you can do is share the cost. By this point, I would hope that you maybe know a family that's in the same season of life as you, and maybe they have the same amount of kids, and you could reasonably get along sharing a beach house or going camping, and you can just split the cost. That way it's less burden on both families. Now let's talk about food on the trip. First things first, go to the grocery store when you arrive. When you get to your destination, if you go to the grocery store, get a small case of water if you need it, some snacks, and some other things that are going to hold you over between meals. Because sometimes your hotel is only going to give you 1 or 2 bottles of water, again, and they'll freshen up your room maybe every other day. So you're subject to the convenience store, and we know those are expensive when you buy items by the bottle or by the unit. Now, if for some reason you're struggling with saving money on groceries or planning, just check out my other video on frugal food hacks, and it's a great way to save on thousands of dollars when it comes to food spending. Another thing you can do is just pack snacks, trail mix, chips, snacks, snack bars, whatever you need to just pack and keep them in your bag as you move from place to place, because sometimes you get to these hotel rooms and there's nothing there for you. So you're gonna have to grab things from anywhere for convenience. Something else I do is I don't buy coffee every day if I'm on vacation. I like my cup of coffee every day for sure, but sometimes you have a hotel room where the coffee doesn't cut it, or what they have in the lobby may not cut it. So you can save a little bit of money if you get one of those larger bottles and buy some cold brew in a large bottle and just keep it in the hotel fridge. And this works for me because I prefer to drink my coffee black. I do like it hot, but I don't mind drinking it cold. This may not work for you if you like to have the fancy coffees or the frappuccinos and things like that, but just know that you can save money buying a larger amount of coffee. If not, then go ahead and spend the money, have the coffee you want. Something else you can do is try multiple places for lunch. And this tip is especially for all of the foodies that might be watching. Instead of sitting at one place for lunch and buying this large meal and having to carry leftovers with you, why not get a slice of pizza here and split it with your partner, or get a sandwich there from a different spot down the street and then split that with your travel partner? I'm a foodie and I like to try different things and as much as I can. And if you do this properly, it won't be boring. You're gonna most likely eat cheaper than you would if you sat down at a fancy restaurant. And we kind of did this in New York when we tried a whole bunch of different places versus sitting at one place. Another way you can save money on food is happy hour deals. Whether you drink or not, make sure you look up places that have good happy hour specials or meal specials so that you can save some money. Now, the next set of hacks are more related to changing your mindset or just having different alternatives. You can do a staycation. Do something you've never done before in the area you live in. Maybe go to a restaurant that you've never experienced, or go to a restaurant of a country that you're just curious about. You can take the whole week off and do nothing and it'll still be considered a vacation. Maybe try different restaurants in your area for that entire week. Something else you can be mindful of is avoid buying a bunch of souvenirs. Over time, there are very few people that actually want the type of souvenirs that you would get for them. I generally try to avoid buying souvenirs unless I know I need to get something specific for someone. One souvenir we like to buy if we go to a new state or a different country, and it's a fridge magnet. And it's very small, low pressure, low cost. It's usually less than 10 bucks. And every time I see it on the fridge, it reminds me of the trip. You could also find free things. This is part of your research that you would do before you go. Search the area for free things and browse social media. You can look on TikTok, you can look on YouTube and see what you can do in the area. If you're going to DC, any of the museums under the Smithsonian Institute are free because they're federally funded. I didn't realize how unique that was though until I became older and paid attention to the prices of museums in other places in the United States. Another way is just shift your mindset in general. Your trip doesn't have to impress anyone. Your vacation is for you and your family. And if it's not relaxing or you find yourself needing to cater to someone else's schedule and preferences, then you have to rethink things. You might even need to remember that it's not about the souvenirs or the stamps in your passport. It could be about the pictures and the videos you record during the trip. It could be about the amount of time you stay away from your cell phone. Something else you can do is just don't go on vacation. One thing I learned from being a stockbroker is that vacations, cruise lines, hotels, anything related to the vacation industry, restaurants even, they're considered consumer discretionary, meaning if people don't have enough money, they will cut costs there first. So vacations are a luxury. When people cut costs, that is the first sector that takes the biggest hit. Another tip in a different way is do nothing. Take time off without the pressure to go somewhere. Even if you took a week off, no one says you have to do anything or book anything or tell anyone. There's this idea that when you take days off that you have to tell people and then compare what you did, like war stories. The easiest way to save money on vacation, ironically, is to take the days off of work and not go anywhere. If you don't have fun or relaxation during that time, then I think you may just have to get a little bit more creative. What are some ways that you like to save money on vacation? Let me know in the comments below. I think it's gonna help someone else who's watching and they wanna save some money as well. Another thing, don't forget to get your free savings starter kit in the description below. And until next time, stay present.